So we started off with fuzzy logic in the last class. Okay. So what is your general understanding of fuzzy logic? Anyone? Arun Balaji, your general idea of fuzzy logic? Abhyashri, what you have understood by the term fuzzy logic? The last class I introduced you. Any idea? So I initially mentioned it's basically a rule-based system, okay? And there is no scope for much learning there. Okay? And the applications ranging from consumer products like washing machine to bullet train, we have a lot of applications. And as I already told you, Japanese, they promoted this technology strongly. Okay, any reason why Japanese, they are interested in this technology? Any fair guess? Why they are so much interested in this technology? Any idea? Quite interesting to read that. Any fair guess? Why Japanese are interested? Krishna?
சார் இது நான் கிளாஸ் வரல சார், வெளியூர் போயிட்டேன்.
So what about
அதான்
no problem,
கிளாஸ்
no
ஜாயின்
problem.
பண்ண சொல்லிடுங்க.
No problem. What about Guruparam? Any fair guess? Why Japanese are interested? Guruparam.
Yeah.
Why these guys they promoted this technology? Any fair reason? Any fair guess you have in your mind? Is there some reasons why they are interested? Any idea?
Yes,
Okay, no problem. Something a little intuitive. Okay, fuzzy logic basically talks about something related to uncertainty. It's very intuitive. Uncertainty in the sense something not clear and you cannot exactly mathematically model. See, but basically in the field of control theory, wherever system model is not there, okay, we go for a model-free fuzzy logic controls. Okay, so naturally, when you can model something with surety, with certainty, then the role of fuzzy logic is very limited. You understand what I'm saying? So it is related to something not clear, beyond the comprehending power of human mind. Comprehending power. Uncertainty is always human beings were fascinated by it. Okay, fascinated in the sense they're attracted towards it as well as they were quite afraid of it also. Okay, why these things are happening? Like for example, COVID. COVID, as I told you, it's a highly uncertain event. Nobody has predicted. But if you look at the Japanese history, okay, it's quite interesting history there. This is a place wherein you find all kinds of natural kind of calamities happens. They cannot predict this. Okay, they'll get tsunamis, they get volcanoes erupting, earthquakes. Okay, all kinds of natural calamities happen over in Japan. So Japanese people, they were curious, okay, of handling this kind of uncertainties. So they never believed in something called as a fair, kind of certain logics. Okay, something very clear, concrete. This is what's going to happen, either 0 or 1. But they were more interested in knowing about why there is always a scope for uncertainty. Okay, why something is we are predicting something, suddenly something happens that changes the entire life. So, like for example, tsunami strikes. That will change your life forever. Okay, so that's why Japanese, in fact, philosophically, they were more interested in understanding the fuzzy logic technology, and they come up with a lot of products. Okay, it's quite interesting. You just type in Cura. Okay, why Japanese are? Otherwise, in Google you type. Okay, why Japanese are interested in fuzzy logic technology? You will come to know a lot of reasons why they promoted this technology by 1980s and 90s. But Europeans, but particularly Germans, okay, they are not interested in this kind of technology because their mind is extremely black or white. Okay, they won't go for this kind of flexibilities. Okay, I think Indian mindset is more connected to Japanese mindset than German mindset. German technology, for example, if you take, extremely accurate. So accuracy, they go, a lot of accuracy they look for. Japanese also, but they give room for some kind of scope for some improvisation. So the technology-wise also, German and Japanese technology, you can study about this. Quality-wise, it's all right. Okay, quality-wise, Japanese they won't compromise also. But the room for uncertainty is always there. Okay, they give that kind of room. So now, if you move ahead and try to look at the fuzzy logic technology, in fact, I said the logic is more kind of concrete, clear, okay, no ambiguity. But the fuzzy is more of not clear, something vague, confusion, not concrete, ambiguous, I said. I hope you can recall that. So in the classical set theory, when you are going to fix a person belonging to the set tall, a particular element if you are going to pick, set tall, I am going to define it greater than 6 feet. Okay, person who are all 6 feet and above, they will be given a membership value of 1. Anybody is less than 6 feet, they will be given a membership value of 0. Okay, 0 and 1. So this is a kind of classical set theory we discussed, and then we versified that particular set, okay, by the help of fuzzy set. Okay, I will be introducing. In fact, Professor Zadeh, you just type in Google, you will know. By 1965, has come up with a completely mathematically path-breaking mathematical idea called as fuzzy set theory. He in fact played a very key role. Before that also some work was going on, but Zadeh has made it somewhat clear. Okay, the by 1965 he did that. So fuzzy set theory is just different from classical set theory. So we'll be learning about this. So right now I'm trying to introduce you to the fuzzy logic technology, so that if you are interested, maybe you can think of doing a project. For that only I am doing it. In fact, we are digressing, okay, from neural networks. Still we have to learn a lot in neural networks. Now I've taken these 2 classes, okay, for yesterday's class and today's class, only to introduce you to the technology called fuzzy logic, so that you can start probing in that direction also, okay, for your project. So now, yeah, so this idea. So can somebody tell me what is this diagram, in fact, is about? Can you explain this diagram a bit? Anyone? So those who attended the last class. What is this diagram tells you? What is this graph in fact tells you? Anyone? Can give it a try?
Sir, 6 feet is the what do you say, the eligibility criteria kind of thing, sir. And we
Okay.
Assign +1 -1 range of values, and accordingly we give that what do you say, that membership value, sir, from
So
0
understand this idea. So this idea is crucial, okay, for understanding fuzzy logic. So it is called a membership, as Ananta Karthik mentioned. Memberships. Membership in the last class I defined it to be equal to what? A degree of closeness. Once you understand this term clearly, fuzzy logic will be quite useful. Degree of closeness of an element in a set. Degree of closeness of an element to a particular set. So for example, in the set tall, I have people with the 6 feet, 6.1 feet, 6.2 feet, 5.9 feet, 4.5 feet. All those people are there in the set tall. Okay, let us imagine. I'm calling this set as a fuzzy set. So in that case, I'm going to assign membership values for all these guys. 4.5 feet, for example, I'll be giving him 0 membership. Okay, but a person with 5.9 will be given a different membership. So when I draw the membership function, something like this, so a person with 6 feet, maybe I'll be giving him the full membership. And a person with 4.5 feet, I'll give 0. A person with 7 feet, I'll give some value, 0, in the set top. But the same person will be given a much higher membership value in the set very top. So likewise, 4.5 will also enjoy a different membership value at a at a set called short set. Okay, that's the idea. In fact, I told you on the last class. Okay, different membership values, different sets. So in the case of fuzzy sets, with for a tall, very tall, short, very short. Can you see it? So all these are linguistic values. So I'm trying to convert the quantitative numbers, okay, into some kind of qualitative words like this. Okay, the quantitative number is what? 4.5, 6, 6.5. They are quantitative. But what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to convert it into some qualitative form. Qualitative. You understand that? So this is a point, in fact, I mentioned in the last class. Okay, so we have different sets like this. Okay, different sets we can create. And this form of a conversion of quantitative crisp values, they call it. Crisp means something very clear. Crisp numbers, values into something like fuzzy values. It's called as a fuzzification step. They call it fuzzification. Doing this is a big job. Once this job is done, almost you are through. Okay, membership assignment is a key. In the case of fuzzy, there are different techniques for assignment of membership values. Okay, we will learn about that later on. Okay, in the third unit, in fact, we'll be covering about membership assignments. How to assign memberships. There are different ways in which, in fact, you can do that. But the intuitive way is very interesting. Very intuitively you can assign. Intuitive way of assignment. The mathematical approach is also there, but we'll be learning some 3 or 4 methods. Okay, but membership assignment is one of the important criteria for fuzzy logic technology. And then I mentioned about, can you recall the second step involved? Once the membership is assigned, that means what? Dividing your space, your quantitative space, okay, into number of fuzzy logic sets like this. Okay, it may be triangular membership function, something like this, or something like this. You can assign something. You can do. There are different membership values. Geometric shapes are there: triangular, trapezoidal. Okay, then you have different things are there. Okay, so Gaussian is there. Gaussian there. Gaussian way of assigning membership values. So you can assign membership values based on your problem. So fuzzy logic is nowadays employed for classification also. Classification, clustering, as well as the key technology over the years people have been heavily employing fuzzy logic is in the control systems. We will see one example today how we can employ it for control systems. With MATLAB we can see. Okay, so but the idea is clear. Fuzzy logic can be applied for many of the ML tasks also. Okay, ML can be applied for classification, clustering, you know that. Machine learning. So fuzzy logic can also be employed, but the element of learning is going to come down. Element of learning is not there. Okay, but somehow we can bring in NN technology and couple it with the fuzzy logic. NN will look after the learning part, and fuzzy logic will help you with some more concrete rules. Okay, with an element of fuzziness, uncertainty. So you can handle uncertainty definitely with fuzzy logic. So in the last class I mentioned about the generalization ability of neural network. Remember, when you are training the network, I hope you can recall that. I said it. Another class you can recall that what I said, generalization.
Sure.
Generalization of a neural network. Can I say? Can you recall what I said?
No, sorry, I forgot, sir.
Yeah. Anybody else? Purbaran? Anybody? Varsha? Varsha is there? I think Rupa Maitri, are you following the lectures? Yashwant Jalai Bharati, what is that generalization I said in last class? Are you there?
Sir, is generalization that drawing that line, sir, according to the...
One minute, Anudha. Just try to get this guy, Yashwant Jalai Bharati.
Oh.
Yashwant, are you there, Yashwant? Yashwant? Did you understand the generalization concept of what I said in last class? No? See here, we are talking about something called generalization. The problem is there are some data here. Some data is here. So when I'm going to find out a particular weight and bias, okay, which exactly goes through this line. This is called a problem called as overfitting problem. In the neural networks domain, overfitting. So once you overfit like this, when a new data comes, it is somewhat here, new data. It may not be in a position, network may not be in a position to exactly predict the output. Okay, the next data comes. Prediction fails when a new data comes, overfitting problem. So I think an element of uncertainty is always there when it comes to a new data generation. Why? We don't know what kind of distribution data is going to come from. As I told you in the last class, I hope you can recall. Distribution in the sense, probabilistic distribution. We don't know the speeding. So it can come from anywhere. So normally people take it as outlier. This kind when the data is too far away from the originally given data, then they will take it as an outlier. Outlier means the data is not valid. They will not take it. But in most of the real cases, somehow or other, we need to accommodate for some kind of deviations. We need to accommodate this kind of uncertainties, uncertain data. So that, in fact, you should think. Okay, is there a role of fuzzy logic there? Fuzzy logic, in fact, accommodates some level of uncertainty. Okay, so is it possible to mingle these two technologies, neural network technology with fuzzy logic, in order to create a learning machine at the same time which can accommodate some level of uncertainty, rather than sticking on to what do you call some fixed data set? Is it possible to bring in some fuzziness inside? Okay, so you have to think like that in the direction. Maybe fuzzy logic, maybe you can think of how to combine hybrid technologies, how to combine neural network with fuzzy logic. Is it possible to do? Is it possible to generate fuzzy logic membership functions with the neural network? Think about that. Okay, so that is something we should think. Now, so today's class, the focus is on fuzzy, how to implement fuzzy with one simple toy case. Imagine you are trying to control the temperature in a system. So you know very well that you need to measure the temperature. Okay, and the controllers are there to control the temperature. You give the reference signal. Basic feedback loop diagram. Most of you quite comfortable with this. So this is the temperature we are measuring. So normally we employ PID controls. Imagine the task given to you is more like this. So can you replace the PID controller with fuzzy? If so, how? That's the question. How you do it? So any fair guess? What do you do in order to come up with a fuzzy decision making logic? Think for a minute. Come up with some ideas. I want to eliminate this controller with this. Okay, it's a decision making logic. So how do I go about it? Any fair guess?
So first we should determine the bandwidth kind of thing, sir. We should set a threshold and we should assign a plus and minus value, like we did for the 6 feet. As
membership band. Remember, you are talking about
membership band, that one.
Okay.
And we should assign.
For what quantitative data you will do that? You qualitative it. There should be some quantitative numbers, no? So that only you can apply membership. For example, in the case of set, you have to define some sets. What kind of sets you will design for this problem?
So that depends on the application.
So for this application, imagine you are trying to control the temperature in the place.
Temperature.
Can you define it? Can you imagine that? Good. You are thinking, man. Good. Anybody else? Anybody else? Come up with some idea. Yeah.
Sir, the error will be the input.
That's right. That's all. Okay, that's one key point. Anything else?
And we will be deciding the membership based on the error.
Okay. Anything else? What will be the output? Fuzzy logic means, in fact, you should have both the input and output. Some variable should be there. Okay. Some variables.
Output will be the moderation in the heat supply, sir.
That's right. Okay, so it can be either switching on your cooling fan, or switching on a heater, or maintaining the previous value. Okay, things like that. Maintaining the previous value constantly, you can keep it without taking any corrective action. Okay, so the output can be some of this. So the input of the fuzzy logic can be something, you should imagine that very clearly. So it's more like the fuzzy logic technology coming at a domain called as expert systems, I told you. The expert systems means the knowledge base of an expert be converted into a rule base. Okay, a rule base. Okay, that's a very powerful idea. So, in fact, many of the artificial intelligence, AI, in fact, fuzzy logic comes under AI only, artificial intelligence. During 1970s and all, there are a lot of AI-based products and tools for particularly in the field of medical diagnosis. So what they wanted to do is they would like to convert the doctor's insights over any one particular diagnosis into the corresponding rules, so that it can be the AI technology can be of help to the doctors, or you can take it as a kind of online medicine, wherein a person can start querying, use some queries, okay, and the machine will query that particular patient, and when the person answers that queries, the machine at some point of time, following a standard rule base, okay, developed with the help of the insights of doctors, can suggest him some kind of medication or some diagnosis can be done. Okay, it's a very interesting idea. Okay, during AI technologies, during 1970s, 80s, they heavily employed this kind of rule-based technology. There are tools like Lisp and all. Just type in Google, you can come for us this kind of. Then there is a tool called Mycin. Okay, these are all AI technologies heavily employed for this kind of application. In the similar manner, fuzzy logic is in fact kind of an offshoot of this kind of rule-based technology of AI, but bringing in some element of uncertainty through the assignment of membership values.
Sir, on doubt, sir.
Yeah.
So now you told that in that the temperature control example that you can replace a controller with the fuzzy logic.
We are going to discuss that. I have not discussed that.
No, sir. Then what is the difference between a controller and a fuzzy logic decision? Is it are both same, or is there any difference?
No, that's different. That's why I'm telling it's slightly different. You can bring in, see, for example, normally the PID controllers that you're going to work in industries, they are linear controllers. Okay. You can bring in fuzzy logic. Okay. And thereby you can develop some non-linear controllers also. That's number one. Because the rules can be anything. You need not follow a linear kind of a rule. Okay. You can go in for some kind of rules, if-then rules, which can be a kind of something like an input-output mapping. This is the input, this is the output. This mapping can be non-linear also. Okay, if-then rules basically, if this condition comes, then this action has to be taken. That can be a non-linear action. For our case, you can imagine, as he has mentioned, Gurubaran has mentioned, the error is an input to the fuzzy logic. For every error, there is a corresponding controller output. Normally, this mapping is linear when I say PID controllers. But you can make a you can create a non-linear mapping also. Okay, non-linear mapping with the help of fuzzy logic rules. Okay, in that way it is different. Number one. Number two, we are not talking about some kind of mathematical expressions. Mathematical expressions are ruled out here. Why I am saying mathematical expressions? So the controller output for a PID controller, you know very well. Okay, times E plus integral of d dt plus dE by dt, some case kd, ki, all those are there. Kp, ki, kd values.
Sir,
Okay.
sir, sorry,
Yeah.
sir, I lost my connection,
Yeah.
sir. Could you repeat, sir?
Yeah, fine. See, look at this case. In the case of fuzzy logic, see, the case of PID controllers, okay, number one is they are linear PID controllers. Okay, they are linear in the sense the input-output mapping is linear. Error is the input, controller output is output, means this mapping is linear. So what I am saying is with the help of fuzzy logic rule basis, you can create a non-linear mapping also. That is something I am telling you first. So the controller can be a non-linear controller. Okay, number two, all mathematical expressions are ruled out. In the case of fuzzy logic, PID controllers, you need to work with this kind of algorithms. Okay, how do you work out this algorithm in a computer? You know that very well. Okay, you just choose the values of E of k, E of k minus 1, okay, E of k minus 2, store it, and then add all those values. Okay, then you will be getting the integration factor, and then ek minus 1 divided by that some delta t can fetch you this d by dt, and error can be E of t, some E of n. Okay, some various instances of error you can collect, and you will be computing the controller output based on this k, kp, ki, and kd values. Okay, that's normally the PID controller will be working. But all these are ruled out here. Okay, so we are not using any kind of mathematical expressions. In the case of fuzzy decision-making logic, we are simply writing some rules. Okay, if-then kind of rules. And moreover, the key point is you are going to convert, for example, the ideas collected from an expert. For example, a boiler operator, control systems operator. He'll be working in a particular boiler system for around 25 years. And he knows that every time when the temperature reaches a particular point, and when it's coming down with a lot of oscillations, and he'll be increasing some gain. So he will tell that I will open the valve more. I will open the steam valve more. For this particular condition, I will decrease the valve. Oh, I will close the valve. I will gradually increase the valve. Okay, you get it. So he will be telling some linguistic, qualitative manner something. Okay, some kind of inputs will be getting. When he is, for example, manually trying to control some level in the tank, for example. I think one of you has put on. Yeah. Another Karthik, can you close down? Some noise I'm getting from you. Fine, I'm mute it. So manually, see, level in the tank will be doing it. Okay. So how you do it? So for example, manually you want to control the level. How do you do it? So you look at the level. Okay. Then for a steady flow rate, the level starts increasing. So there is a valve here. So a person will be standing here and it will be observing. Okay, observing the level. Based on the level, whether it is increasing or decreasing, at what rate is increasing, are you going to get some other level or some other fluid from somewhere else? Okay, based on that, he'll be taking some appropriate corrective actions. He will either open this valve or either open this valve. Okay, these are all something called they call it as heuristic knowledge. In the AI domain, they call it as heuristic knowledge. So this is something based on his sense perception and inference. He will make some decisions on the spot. So this knowledge can be of use to us. Okay, you have to collect this knowledge. So how do you do it when it comes to PID controllers? That is something we need to imagine. So I want to replace my PID controller with the help of a fuzzy logic controller. is, I will, first of all, I need to know for the given system, in order to control effectively, what I need to do with the error. So with respect to whether the error is increasing or decreasing, I need to take some immediate corrective actions here. Either to open a valve, or either to open a heater or a cooler, or previous actions can be maintained. All those I need to think. Okay, so that's where the idea of heuristic knowledge comes, and then you can imagine that this you can normally develop by doing some kind of simulations also. You can perform some simulations. Okay, you take your system mathematically, temperature system, then give some different inputs and study how the system is behaving. So for example, I can tune my system using a conventional PID controller, and I'll study how the error changes with respect to time. Okay, and what is the corrective control actions taken by the PID. Understand? For example, the error is changing like this with respect to time. Initially it increases and then comes down and then increases for a given set point. This is the error. Okay, for a given reference point, this is the output y. Okay, then the controller output for the given error, how it is going to change. You can plot that also. So output is changing like this. So when the error is here at this point, what is the corrective control action taken by the system? I can map that. Okay, you understand? So this is something like simulation-based learning. And then you try to write a rule based on that. So every time when the error is increasing slope, okay, the corrective control action is a decreasing slope. In this case, it may be a cooling action or something like that. You can imagine that. Okay, the corrective action is going down. If the corrective action is increasing, maybe it's a heater action. So you need to think this. Okay, think this manner. So in that way, you can deduce a rule. Okay, and then you can work out a kind of a strategy. Okay, you collect all those error range. For my system, okay, the error can be, I may be deciding something like that. The error can be positive error, or the error can be zero error, or the error can be negative error. Okay, all these three immediately you can understand they are linguistically defined by me. I am applying my intuitive power in defining it. Okay, so error range I am fixing. Then I'll fix the, I can add more variables. I can add something like rate of change of error. The rate of change of error means how fast the error is changing. Okay, the slope of it. The slope can be either positive, or it can be a constant one, okay, a zero, or it can be a negative slope also. I can fix this. See, imagine one thing is very clear. There is no hard and fast rule to fix the number of the ranges to only 3. You can go in for 10 range by assigning an appropriate linguistic terms for it. For example, positive error can be, I can divide the positive error into positive very large, positive large, positive medium, positive negative, positive small. Okay, I can fix like this. So I can divide, see, if more and more I divide, the precision will be more. Okay, computationally it will be costly, but the precision will be more. The rate of change of error also I can divide like this. And then the controller output. What kind of controller output I am seeing? So I can, based on that, I can decide it may be a cooling action. Cooling delay I can divide into number of cooling medium, cooling large, cooling like that, heating action, or otherwise no action. Previous action will be continued. Okay, so I can take all this. When the error is 0, for example, I need not to go and disturb the system. Okay, so for our case, for example, the temperature what I want is around 100 degrees centigrade, and your measured value, okay, is the reference. Measured value is 80 degrees centigrade. So then you know how to compute the error. The error is going to be equal to R minus 1. So always 100 minus 80, you are going to get a very positive, in fact large error here in this case, 20 degree difference. The same manner you can imagine when the reference value is y is going to be equal to 120 degree. Then the error is what? Minus 20 degree. A negative very large error. So in that case, what is your control action you will be imagining in your mind?
Cooling.
Immediately you will apply cooling, no doubt. Okay, you will immediately cooling high cooling you will immediately apply. But at the same time, you will not be applying cooling high for an error of -2 degree centigrade. So -20 degree is too far away from 100. So you need to drastically reduce your temperature. But for 2 degree centigrade, you may not be immediately applying the very high cooling value. Maybe you will apply slight cooling or a slight cooling. Okay, or you may be thinking of maintaining the previous action. At the same time, you will be monitoring the rate of change of error also. You understand what I'm saying? If the rate of change of error is now decreasing, okay, in that case, the error is coming down now. Okay, it is decreasing fastly from the curve. Okay, decreasing fastly, for example, it is coming down. Okay, then you'll see the slope and you'll think that, okay, in a matter of another few seconds, the temperature will reach a reference point because already the error is decreasing drastically. So you can make some corrective inferences based on the kind of data you have. Okay, so it is something intuitively you have to think. Okay, how we are going to frame the rules. Okay, so -2 degree is like that. So in that way, what I'm trying to convey to you is you take the error range. Okay, and then fix your membership values. Anything near to 0, we call this set as something called 0 set. See, I am accommodating even -1 to 1 also. Okay, in by set is 0 set. That's the difference between classical set and fuzzy set. So then I will go for one more set. This is a positive error. This range is positive. Then go for one more set. I'll call this range as negative. So every element within these sets, they have some membership values. Okay, the membership value ranges between 0 to 1. Okay, so this is my first thing. I will identify the variable. First step. Then the variables for my case are error, rate error. Okay, then the third one is the controller output. So for all these variables, then I will do what I will do is I will assign membership. So once I assign it for error, I will do it for rate error also. This is for rate error. Membership values. This is a rate error value between 0 to 1. It is going to be. The same manner I will do it for the controller output also. Maybe I will fix anything near to 0 as a cooling action. Then this range I will be calling it as heating action. This I will be calling it as no action. Then this range I will be calling it as cooling action. Okay, when the error goes negative, I will take cooling action. When the error goes positive, I will take heating action. Okay, I will fix my range accordingly. Controller output. Okay, these are all the 3 signals associated with the controller output. Signals related to heater, signals related to no action, signals related to control cooling action. Okay, cooling fan will be switched on like that. So based on that, I will fix the values. So the cooling action can be varying. It can be here like this. It can be here. Full cooling action here. Okay, you can see that. So now once having done this, I'm ready now with my fuzzy inference mechanism. So I have 2 input variable and 1 output variable. Okay, error, rate error. Based on this, I'm going to decide upon something. What is that? Controller output. So then what I will do, I will write my rule base. If my error is negative large, then controller output is cooling high. Okay, you understand? So I'll be writing different kinds of rules like this. Okay, based on the inference mechanism. We have to learn about inference mechanism. Later on we'll learn. But fuzzy inferences are very powerful. Okay, fuzzy inferences systems. So if error is positive large, then control action is heating high. Then you have to couple. Okay, so we're not using only one variable. We have to use two variables. If error is negative large and rate error is also negative large, then the cooling action is somewhat cooling medium, because error is coming down drastically. Okay, rate error is coming down drastically. So in that case, I know that it's going to come down to that desired point after some time. So naturally, I'm looking for, I don't want to waste much of the controlled energy there. Cooling high may waste some amount of energy. So I'm going for a cooling medium. Okay, cooling medium means medium level cooling. Okay, I can write my rule accordingly. Okay, cooling medium. This, but I need to define these memberships. Remember that. Okay, I need to define this membership. Somehow or other, okay, for example, the same point may be in two different values also. For example, this error, there is an intersection point here. Okay, this error can have this value, this is error code. Error and membership. Membership new they call it, 0 to 1. So this point is having a value in both what you call the zero error or positive error. It is having both the values. It's an intersection point more like that. Okay, so it's going to enjoy both the membership values. In that case, how we are going to combine these values? All this simple learning. Okay, under the fuzzy inference systems, we will be talking about how much amount of area we need to take. Okay, all these we need to think. So, but the key idea is this: we identify the variables for the decision-making process, and then we assign membership values, and then we write the rule base, fuzzy inference systems rule base. Okay, then we will go for something called defuzzification. Because once having done these operations, we need to again defuzzify. Okay, defuzzification is the third step. The defuzzification stage, you will be again converting fuzzy values into something crisp values, numbers, quantitative. So, for example, fuzzy value, can you give an example? Cooling high cooling. It's not concrete. Okay, it's not crisp. It's very vague or something very uncertain. But we need to get some crisp values back in order to operate the actuators in the real world. So defuzzification is an important strategy in real-time applications. Because unless you defuzzify, you cannot operate a valve. You cannot say give an instruction to the control valve saying that open slowly. Okay, that is not going to work. How much pressure you need to apply in order to open 4 psi, 3 psi? Numbers need to be given in order to operate with the actuators. The actuator is here. Okay, it may be a fan or a cooling fan or a pump, anything. So you need to convert the fuzzy logic output into such a kind of thing. Okay, so that is important. Now look at this case. There is an excellent toolbox in fuzzy logic or in MATLAB. Okay, you can easily learn that in MATLAB. For example, if the temperature control in a shower is there. Okay, simply you can type this and run this. We'll be seeing some lot of what do you call fuzzy inference based what do you call, a graphical user interface. You'll see immediately. Okay, just a minute. Let it open. You can read this. Okay, see here, as I told you earlier, there is something called cold, good, hot. Okay, what are these? The idea is very clear. Models the temperature of a shower using shower means what you have in the bathroom. You have shower. Okay, you can either open the cold water valve or a hot water valve. How we are going to mix it in order to get the desired temperature? That's the idea. Okay, it can be cold. The temperature is good for you. If it is hot, degree of membership you are assigned temperature. Then flow. Okay, the flow is soft, good, hard. Okay, opening and closing, cold and hot respectively. Okay, so you can assign membership values. Close fast, close slow, steady, open slow, open fast. And you see it, all this. Okay, in the MATLAB toolbox, you can see all this. Close fast, close. So they are assigning membership values in the range of numerical ranges, -1 to 1 here. Here it is 0 to 1 membership values. Okay. If they write the rule base here. If the temperature is equal to cold and the flow is equal to soft, then open slow, hot, open fast. Okay, this is the kind of rules they are following. So once you write the rule, then you can get the results. It's taking too time to open. So that's why. So you can open this fuzzy logic toolbox and the documentation, and you can read that documentation also. So here you get some nice definitions and all the MATLAB documentation. So what is fuzzy logic? If you click that, you'll get some more information. So you can see it's a good example he has explained. So for example, it's a very classic case. The real world scenario, you will not be working with this kind of very accurate kind of information. A 1500 kg mass is approaching your head at 45.3 meter per second. What do you do in the real world? You say simply look out. That's all. So that's the difference. Okay. Significance is this. Fuzzy logic is convenient to map an input space output space. You can read this. It's nice material. Why you use fuzzy logic? What's the idea behind it? Foundations of fuzzy logic. Okay. With some examples they have explained. For example, the example order I took in the day is the tall. Definitely tall, really not very tall. Exact example I gave. So different kinds of membership functions are there. Okay. The Simulink is opening, it takes 5 minutes. Okay. So various logical operations can be done. We'll learn all this later on, but just try to get a feel of it. So rule base, if you look at the rule base, if X is A, then Y is B. So that's the kind of rule I'm talking about. Antecedent, they call it, consequent. The logics, in fact, they use it. Okay, if service is excellent or food is delicious, then tip equal to NRS. Understand? It's a good example. Somebody, you're going for a hotel, then somebody, you want to tip. How will you when you tip? Service is excellent, food is delicious. Either one of them happens. Both are, if both are there, then you'll give. Okay, so 0.0 or 0.7, then tip equal to generous. Food is delicious, so you are providing it. Okay, so that's it. This is about fuzzy logic technology. Okay, so we'll go back to the MATLAB environment, and I think it's open. Yeah, it's our example. So you can see here clearly, this is a fuzzy logic controller I'm talking about. To replace the conventional PID controllers. Okay, so here is the mathematical model for the shower example. Okay, it may be two actions. It may be flow rate, temperature adjustment. Okay, flow error, temperature error. So you can do that, and you can hot water valve and cold water valve are adjusted. Based on that, you get different flow rates. So this is a mathematical model. Okay, and you adjust the cold water valve and hot water valve so that your temperature and the flow will be maintained. Okay. That's the idea. So you get two inputs for your temperature is what we are controlling, flow is not controlling, but you are taking that also information also as an input to your fuzzy logic. Okay, so look at this, flow error is also be taken as well. So you give two inputs to your fuzzy logic. Okay, so run the thing, you will get some idea how it is running. Temperature controlling the shower. Running. You can run this afterwards, see what kind of results you are getting. And then one thing you can do is you can click open this fuzzy logic control, double click it and you get it open. Okay, and you can see the different rules and all those things inside. Okay, all those how they have framed the rules, everything data will be there, and we can go through that. Okay, let's take 2 more minutes. Simulation is running. Yeah, compilation completed. I'm initializing it. Is there some graph? You can see it here. Now you can see the, what do you call, the temperature scope. You can see the graph. Yeah, you can see how the temperature is being tracked. Okay, you can see the results. You can see the flow scope also. In order to design this fuzzy logic controller, okay, you have to understand this. In order to design this fuzzy logic controller, you need to do something called, just type in MATLAB fuzzy. Okay, if you open up this interface, nice GUI. Okay, it's nice GUI. Can you see it clearly? Now, if you look at this, the untitled Mamdani is there. That's what your fuzzy inference decision making fuzzy control. So there are some inputs here, there are some output here. So there is some provision for edit here. Save, edit. If you click that edit, you can add variable. Okay. For example, in our case, what are the 2 variables I mentioned? Controller, error, and rate of change error. So I can add that. Add variable input. If I click that, I'll get this graph. Okay, it's nice. So now then what is the output? I have only one output. All right. So then you can remove the selected variable also. I can assign membership value. So now I'm going to assign membership. Click on that first input. Okay, then edit. Then assign membership functions. So the membership function is going to get opened up like this. And you see, now I'm going to operate on the first input variable. So I'm going to define that one as something like error. You can do that. Okay, then I can assign different kinds of membership functions there. Trapezoidal, Gaussian, I said na. So all kinds of membership values. Then you define the ranges. Okay, the ranges equal 0 to 1. All those values you can design. So the parameters, how these values can be adjusted. Okay, I'm going to click on this, and I don't want this kind of a transfer function. I would like to have a triangle membership function with a range between 0 to 0.4. Okay, this is the first one. So it starts from 0, bit value is 0.2, and maybe 0.4 I give. If I give that, it will get changed. See, it is changed now. So I modified it. So you can modify these membership values based on your problem statement. So likewise, you can do it for assign membership values for the other case also. Okay, the other error, rate of change error. Sorry, rate of change error also you can do that. Rate error. You can define the corresponding membership error, rate error like this. If you look at this, immediately I'll get rate error. Second input. Okay, so second input becomes rate error. So you can define all those things. Yeah. Maybe I have to go back. So look at this. See, then once you having done with this, okay, you can add membership functions, and you can remove selected membership. For example, I don't want this membership. I can click that. I can remove that. So it will be removed immediately. So I can add different things. I can see once having done with that, for all the 3 variables you have assigned membership values, then you can view your rules. Okay, the rules, if you go there, the rules viewer will be there. So here you have to substitute the values for the rules. Input, outputs. you can add membership function. Okay. So we will see that. Okay, in the next class I will show you some demo also. If you want, I can show you. It's quite easy to work with. Okay, it's not difficult. Only thing you need to have a MATLAB environment. It is feasible from your end to get that, and we can work with that. Okay, any doubts so far? Anything you want to discuss? View here is not open. Maybe that's it. So I can add rules here. Yeah, here is rules. Okay. So for example, if input is error, input 2 is MP3, MF3, then the control output can be MF3. So I can assign these values. Okay. If I do that, then I can do the AND operation and then add rule. If I do the add rule, it will automatically come in. See, the rule is being added. So I can generate the combinations of rules. For example, for 3 input, 2 input case with 3 membership functions, I can generate up to 9 rules easily. Okay. So different combinations. Okay, I can go for it. So that way I can build my rules. Okay, so you understand. So once having done with that, you can go for different rules. Then you can see the rule viewer also. How the surface of the rules look like. Yeah, surface of the rule viewer and all you can see. But right now don't bother about all this. Gradually you try to get into this. You can change rule, you can add rule, you can delete rule, everything you can do. The kind of rule viewer is there also there. So you can get a feel of how what's happening when you learn the mathematics behind it. Right now I haven't given you any mathematics. Simply I am giving an overall view about what you can do with fuzzy logic. Okay? So we will learn mathematics of it. Fuzzy set theory, membership assignment, all those things gradually. With that, I will wind up today's class. Any doubts? Yeah. I will close. All right. Stop recording.